The other thing I'd like to do in this session is to have a look at how the responsive resizing works when we're laying out projects in our XD artboards. To look at the responsive resizing, I just wanted to add a little bit more content to the page here, and I might just duplicate this artboard. Well, that was Command D on the keyboard to quickly duplicate that content. And I'm going to make this just a little bit deeper because I want to add kind of a header element, hero image up the top there. Oops. So just dragged out my artboard a bit deeper. I'm going to grab this content here that we stacked together. I'm going to pop that down the page a little bit. And up here, just very quickly, we're going to add in a hero image and a bit of a header element. So something like that. This is going to be our image. Doesn't need a fill. And I think I had an image here somewhere. Here it is. And I'm going to drag that straight into that picture box, which works quite nicely. Bring it down just a little bit more. Just being very, very rough here. A bit of text over the top. Carriage return. Make that white, medium, and about 60. Even more. That looks all right. We'll give it a drop shadow as well. Make it a bit darker. Okay, so we've got a hero image. Let's very quickly make a menu element here, just out of a couple of lines. I'll group those together. That'll do me for a menu, something like that. Center it. And I'll go back over to my illustrated document and find something that could be, I don't know, logo-ish. Maybe this one here. We'll pop that on the left-hand side. So we've got one element to the left and one element to the right. It's not a great logo, but it will do. So there's our kind of app design in place. Now, if I select my artboard, we can turn responsive resize on, which is great because imagine if you're doing an app or a website and you want to visualize how that content is going to look across multiple platforms, multiple devices. So you could, reshape everything and just manually move things around, or you can use the responsive resize function and have your elements kind of adapt to a change in artboard size. So let's select our artboard. This is the one that we're going to work with. And I might just duplicate that, Command D. So we've got our mobile design, and we're going to think about changing this to maybe iPad. Oops, spelling. Alright, so with responsive resize enabled, when I drag out the width here, my content is going to adapt to that new situation. So if I have that not turned on and drag it out, it's just kind of going to be a bigger artboard, content the same size. Turning that on, and my content will adapt. And I'm thinking this is around about a maybe an iPad in a vertical situation. So that's good. That works well. And so what's happening here is that XD is looking at all the elements that I've got on the page and doing its best to interpret that and position it and let it flow as best it possibly can. So it sees items on the left and right and kind of pins them to the edge, pins things centrally to the center and lets them fluidly adjust, which is good. Let's have a look at how you can manipulate that. So for example, we'll have a look at this logo element top left, and under responsive resize, it's currently set to auto, so it'll do what XD thinks is best, but I can go in there and manually adjust how it's working. So currently it's set to be pinned left and top, which is good, and the width and height are fixed, so that makes a lot of sense. Let's have a look at this item here. This is the opposite, so it's pinned left and right, fixed height and width. These elements here, fixed to the bottom, it's got a fixed height, but the width is adjusting, and I think that works quite well. So let's make another duplicate, and we'll think about an even wider scenario, something maybe that's more like a desktop view. So if I pull this out even further, well, actually what I might do is I might turn this element, or adjust this element on its own, bring it in a bit smaller. Okay, and bring it over to the left. And just imagine I had two columns of these tiles. Alright, so I just duplicated that. I'm going to center it. Something like so. Now how does that work when we adjust the... So that's not working exactly as we want. What we'll do is we'll go for we'll just pin this one to the left. We'll try this. This one to the right. Let's see what happens now. And that's looking heaps better. So we're ending up with a design that could could work across a much wider... This is going to be our desktop. Alright, so with the responsive resize, we can really quickly flesh out different viewport designs for our project that we're working on. So that's the responsive resize function.